Hey guys, and welcome to the D&D workshop. This is our first episode, and before I even get comments, congratulations! I have made a small set. Let's talk about this workshop. So, I love playing D&D, and I use it for writing inspiration. So much so that I have a whole bag of dice, and off camera I have a box of figurines and a D&D DM screen. So I wanted to talk about what I'll be doing for this workshop, and we'll talk about characters and how we're going to basically set some guidelines, some rules, and such. So first things first, let's talk about how am I going to be doing the story, or how am I going to be showing you the story at all. I will be using a program called Tabletop Simulator to establish what's going on in the story. Now, what do you need to do this workshop? Well, I highly recommend getting your hands on the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition Players Handbook. I do have it. I don't know how I'm going to be able to drop it and give it to you guys. I do have a digital copy I can give you. But if not, you'll be able, you could find it online if you want to shell out like $50 for it. That book is pretty much the only textbook recommended for this workshop, or any of the other workshops I do if this is really successful. Characters you can use for the workshop, you can use the ones I have, or if you really want to up the difficulty on the workshop for you, you can make your own characters. So we'll talk about that in a little bit, but that's another requirement, is you gotta have at least, I have 4, I recommend at least 4 or 5, try not to have 2, because it for what I have set for the story, it's not gonna help. Usually with D&D, it's better with more people, from what I've seen. With the workshop, will you need dice? You could get some dice. You can go to any Hobby Lobby type shop, like board game shop, and get them for dirt cheap. Like the lowest I've seen dice go for is about $5 for the whole set. Highest would be if you wanted premium, it's gonna go for 20 to 50. And again, that's premium stuff. If you wanted metallic metal, or you wanted a whole set of dice, I know a D100 would be included with a $50 pack. You could get an app to cheat this, just to do it, or if you have a smartphone, you just tell them roll for you, and there you go, you can count that. But however, I do want you guys to be kind of don't be well, I don't like this idea, I'm just gonna do my own thing. That's not going to really help if you continuously make your story flawed. You have to respect the role and go with the role, because when we get down that road, you'll start to notice that the story's pacing drastically changes because of a situation. This goes back to what I'll talk about when it comes to the characters. You don't have to follow my characters or my storyline. This is just made for people who are having a hard time coming up with story ideas, and I'm wanting to show how you can use D&D to create a story and work with, elements of a story. We'll get into the characters, get that done and over with, since that's the whole main plot of this intro video. So I have selected for my group, which I can't believe my computer closed it out, so now I have to reopen it. So I have selected for this particular story, Human Ranger. I have a Tiefling criminal wizard. No, not wizard, criminal sorcerer. I have a gnome wizard who's a guild master. And I have a half-orc barbarian who's a soldier. The reason why I went with these is because this is something you would find in the Player's Handbook. In the original story, though, this is based on an idea of a couple of my dearest friends wanted to play D&D, and they wanted me to make up a campaign. So I'm like, okay, I'll play to everyone's strengths. One player wanted to play as a pirate. One person wanted to be a sorcerer, wizard type magical person, but I also told them, hey, I'll make you a sorcerer, but I'll also throw in an alchemist because you like Full Metal Alchemist. We'll make you a Full Metal Alchemist type wizard. Sorcerer, same old stuff. They're not a warlock. Another person wanted to kind of be the engineer in TF2, so I made them like a mad scientist kind of build. And then also I had someone that just wanted to basically be like a ranger, but they wanted to be like a really skillful hunter type class. I will discuss the story, of course, and the story will consist of me jumping over to the tabletop simulator and reading out my lines, and then we'll cut back to me talking on the camera about what happened to the characters in this scenario. So what I'll do for each workshop is ask you guys, hey, how did you guys approach this situation? Or how did your dice rolls go? Which will basically dictate how the story will go. The reason why I want you guys to use dice rolls more than just going, oh, well, if my character is going to go into a den of, orcs, I'm going to just kill them all. That is just bad writing, because you're setting up a standard saying that your character is unstoppable, when in reality, your reader knows it's just insane. You want to set the bar to a certain level, and the best way to set a bar would be to roll the dice and see what the outcome is. So say you roll in a battle, you were sneaking into the room, you rolled like a high level, like let's say between 17 and 20. Yeah, you're basically going to stealth kill through maybe some of them before they spot you. But you rolled like a 2. Yeah, you stumbled into the room and they know you're there. That's not going to help. That does bring up a good point. If you've never played D&D before, it's definitely... I'll break out the dice. Do I have a D20 up here real quick? Pull out my Scooby-Doo one. This is a D20, and this is what's going to basically tell the story for most of the part of it. I'm going to cut out the combat stuff, the combat rolls and such, for the story, but if you guys want to be more technical and you guys played D&D before, I would advise throw in that extra dice. But if you've never played D&D before and you're just here for the writing, just a regular D20, that's about it. Most of the time, if you roll X amount, we'll just say you kill it, except for if it's a boss, then we'll make it a little bit more difficult. Back to the main thing, spellcasting is... that's even more complicated. I'm still figuring out how to even approach it. I still think it's going to be approached the same way you would with just how spells are in 5e. Cantrips are unlimited unless you go to a level spell. Once you use a level spell, it's gone until you rest. Again, this storyline, I keep going off topic because there's so many things to talk about in the intro episode. This storyline was going to be something I wanted to do with my friends, but sadly, most of my friends disbanded and we all kind of went our separate ways, so I still have this. Are you required to do anything else with this story? No. You could follow along and kind of make your own story from it, branch off it if you feel like you want to. You want to take the characters and do your own thing with it, you can. I have even the D&D paper filled out in case you guys want the character sheets to go play in different stories if you're a D&D player. But this is mostly designed to show you how to tell a story, and how when you have absolutely nothing to work with, how a simple game like this will get you creative and get you writing on something. So without further ado, thank you for taking the time to sit down and try out this course. Tell me in the comments below if you've ever played D&D or you're here for the writing exercise. Tell me that below, and I'll catch you guys in the first episode of the D&D workshop.